Understanding the resource typing structure. This video will review the FEMA typing structure for categorizing and finding resources. It will demonstrate how this structure is implemented in R.I.C.H and where R.I.C.H has added flexibility to the framework. Each item in the resource inventory is tied to a resource type. Resource types are based on FEMA's NIMS framework, which seeks to achieve consistency across jurisdictions in how resources are categorized. The basic elements that define the type are shown in the Venn diagram. Types are a subset of a broader resource definition. Resource definitions are tied to multiple categories and a single kind. Here is an example. Our type is a Type 2 rigid hull inflatable boat. It is a subset of the inflatable boat's definition. It inherits a kind of watercraft and categories of evacuations, search and rescue, and transportation from the resource definition. Let's look at another example. Here the Type 4 rescue trailer is a subset of rescue support vehicles. It is tied to the kind vehicle and multiple categories. Within the R.I.C.H system, the type will also inherit any keywords set at the definition level. Let's see how this works in the system. We'll start by looking at the typing tree in R.I.C.H. This tree is a quick way to navigate the typing structure. It is grouped by category, then kind, definition, and type. If a definition is related to multiple categories, it will be repeated within each category. Opening the flood control category, we see that there are resource types under several kinds for equipment, teams, and commodities. Under equipment, we find machines related to sandbag filling. Double-clicking on the sandbag filling equipment opens a detail page for the definition. Here we can see the kind and resource definition name. We also see that a few keywords have been attached to assist with searching. The first expandable panel lists all of the related resource types. Each type goes to its detail page, which we will examine later. Let's look at the related categories. We can see that multiple have been related. Note that one category is always designated as primary for FEMA reporting purposes. Hazards can also be linked to definitions in the same way as categories. Hazards are useful for searching and grouping results. Let's take a minute to review how R.I.C.H expands upon the FEMA typing structure. It was designed to allow flexibility in search and discovery, accomplished with keywords, hazard tags, and allowing multiple categories rather than just one. It also supports the entry of resource types and services that are relevant to local responder agencies. These are referred to as Tier 2 or non-NIMS resources. A typical challenge with the FEMA typing is deciding which type to assign once a resource definition has been identified. Attributes or characteristics are used to make this choice. The box shown here is an excerpt from a FEMA resource type definition. You can see that the various attributes distinguish between the types. In the R.I.C.H system, we define the relevant attributes or components at the definition level. Then we set the distinguishing values at the type level. One thing you might notice is that FEMA tends to define specific values for some types. As you begin to define new types external to FEMA, we recommend using ranges rather than discrete values for components. Only define attributes necessary to distinguish the types. Additional detail can be stored in the inventory. Let's see how that looks in R.I.C.H. Notice that the resource definition also has a list of related components. These define the characteristics that are relevant for the related types. Let's look at a component definition. You see that the component is pretty simply defined. The majority of components will be value types. A special component can be defined as a link to another resource type. This is used to create resource bundles, which are the resources composed of other resources like kits. Now we'll open a related resource type. This level is more detailed and can even include a link to an image. Notice the table in the bottom half of the screen. We see the same components that were created at the definition level. Here we also see the values for the components that describe this particular type. From the resource type, we can add new inventory related to this type. We can also view related inventory to see who has this type of item. This completes the Understanding the Resource Typing Structure training video. Please review the video library for assistance in searching and creating new typing.